Alright, everyone, we're going to talk about the book that I want to write because these ideas need to go somewhere that's not just in my brain or on a piece of paper, so I actually do it. This is like a college goal of mine, so, 4 years, and even if I don't get it in 4 years, then it's a lifetime goal. But, I want to go through the goals I have, the characters I have right now, nothing's final. I want to come up we talk about the world's lore, and I don't even have the ending in mind yet. I just think it's a really cool concept. Okay, okay. Uh, and the plot, obviously the plot. All right, let's start off with the plot. There are two plots I'm thinking of. I'm leaning towards one more. And one of the plots came up. Well, actually, they both came up in a dream for me. So, and who knows? Maybe if I write one book, I could choose the plot for the second book. All right, plot one, which is the weaker plot. When you die, you go to a place called Elderberry, a land where you fight to be remembered by the living. Once you're killed, you are forgotten. And then in like a little parenthesis, I wrote, but does it have to be that way? Yeah, I think that's a boring one. Plot two, which is the one I really, really like. In a war-stricken world, there's a boy who wants to end it. At first, it's for his kingdom, but as a twist, realizes his kingdom is deeply corrupted. In fact, every kingdom is deeply corrupted by something bigger than the war, the god of war. When the world was created, the many gods maintained balance, but the god of war took it all over. And there's more to that. I think that's a pretty cool basis. That's the plot. Here's the magic system, which is the cool part. Oh, there's gonna be 9 kingdoms by the way, and in the beginning, I'll get to that. I'll get to that point actually. So, yeah. Because I still have to come up with like how the world of gods, the war of the gods even started, and then because there's gods, I have to come up with like the new beginning. Like in our universe, our world, it's like the one true God. Yeah, I'll have to come up with something like that. I have an idea, and I think it's really cool. But I'm not there yet. Let's talk about the magic system. Now, I put this to be very clear. Not everyone draws mana the same way. It depends on your body. Let's make that grammatically correct, please. And let's add that comma. Thank you. Semicolon. Let me correct myself. Alright, not everyone draws mana the same way. It depends on your body. But let it be known that no matter what, if you work hard with any magic system, you can become a god. That's right, you can become a god in this universe. Like, you can work your way up to being a god. Alright, magic system 1. There is no mana in the atmosphere that you draw into your body to rank up. Instead, everyone has evolved to take in various things into the body, like oxygen and food, to naturally produce mana. Magic system 2. Inside your body, there's an orb that connects to a mana dimension, and how much you draw is determined by practice and talent, and how connected you are with that dimension, mana dimension. The things with the mana dimensions, the reason why I think the mana dimensions are so cool, is because everyone's dimension is different. Oh my gosh, hold on, I gotta let my cat back in. Yeah, come on. I know. Excuse the mess behind you. Okay. I'll give you an example of a dimension. And the dimensions can be simple, it can be complicated, it depends. But the dimensions are probably going to be based off of novels and short stories that I've read, because I think it'd be really cool. Let's go to the dimension tab. Alright, dimension idea. If you've read The Baby from It's a Good Life by Jerome Bixby, it's really good. That's what this dimension is based off of. What did I do? Alright. Dimension idea. The Baby from It's a Good Life by Jerome Bixby is by himself because he killed everyone. And it's just him in the dimension. He's 14 now. The 14-year-old has the embodiment of isolation. And the person he's connected to draws that power. So The 14-year-old can stop, and because this 14-year-old is like all powerful, like if you guys know, this baby is just a godlike being. The only thing he can't do in this universe is bring people from the dead. Like he can't bring people from. So he killed everyone in his universe, and he finds out he's connected to someone from a different universe that draws his power. And at any point, he can just cross the universe into this one and just like wipe out everything. But he doesn't. We don't know why. Well, I know why, but we don't know why. I just thought that'd be really cool dynamic, and I think it'd be fun to explore what the embodiment of isolation. What would that look like in mono form? You know, what powers would that intune? And what type of person would that character be attached to? Would it be really cool to make that character an extroverted guy or an introverted person? Do I want the character to relate to the dimension, or do I want it to contrast from the dimension? I don't know. I think that's really fun to play around with. Okay, goals. Let's talk about the goals I have. Number 1, have 50 creative characters with fleshed out personalities and problems that seamlessly interact with each other. That one's going to be hard. That's going to be really hard, because not all those 50 characters will be mentioned in this book. I only plan on writing one book, so that's a lot of characters for one book. So only I want to say 9 of them, maybe 13 of them will be fully integrated in the book, but there's going to be 50 characters. I just think it's really cool if the world, if the world feels like it's going on, or there's not just one isolated look through the main character's point of view, but there's a world and interactions happening at the same time that you get a glimpse of through my book. You probably won't see all of it through my book, but you'll see a glimpse of the world working. I think that's really cool, and also if ever I ever decide to publish this book and it somehow becomes mediocrely popular, I can always just write a second book about the other person's point of view, or expand on with a second book. Probably not write a whole book, but definitely write a whole little short series or whatever about these characters. I think that'd be fun. Alright, goal number 2, come up with the 9 kingdoms that rule the world, where they are, what they look like, the culture around them. And in parentheses, remember, they've been standing for tens of thousands of years. They're going to have very deep traditions and cultures around them. And I decided I don't want any of these cultures to look like any of ours. So nothing that looks like German or Japanese or American, completely different, or at least I try my best to be completely different. Goal number 3, come up with the ending after we have the character list. So after I come up with the 50 characters, make the ending. And goal number 4, come up with the orders of operations. So here's the order of operations right now. Come up with the characters. Come up with how they connect with each other, create the ending, come up with the middle of the story, and set up the start. So set up the beginning of the story so it connects to the middle. And then start writing with the main character's point of view, but keep in mind the things happening with the other characters around the same time. And then set up the goal for each chapter before you write it. Time for the meat and the bones, the characters. I only have 19 characters right now, and not all of them will be used. Some of them are really lame, some of them are cooler than others, and some of them are just completely OP. I'm worried that if I have too many overpowered characters, things might get convoluted, confusing. Alright? But this could just be a really powerful universe, where the base power is up here. Alright, number 1. Side character that's stronger than anyone and has more potential than the main character. So maybe someone who grows along with the main character but is always stronger. Those are the weaker characters. I'm going through the weaker characters right now. Character number 2. A character 2 who has a machine gun, and every 5th shot is a guaranteed hit. I thought that would just be really cool. And that's definitely side character material, I'll tell you that much. Alright, character 3. Character has to die to start fighting. The more painful the death, the more powerful he becomes. But if he dies from others, he's dead for good. His power changes every time he dies. Certain powers are given depending on how he dies. I.e., example, if he stabs himself, he has the power to fly. Then he shoots himself, he has super strength. He's able to stab himself again to go back to being able to fly. I think it's obvious that this character is extremely suicidal. and depressed, but lacks the real courage to let others kill him, because when he killed himself the first time, he became scared. He kind of chickened out a little bit, and so now he's hesitant. Like he wants to do it, but he can't. He can't bring himself to do it. So he's kind of, I think that's an interesting dynamic to explore. Character number 4, a gentle and kind person as the bad guy. He's not a psychopath or a sociopath. He's genuinely a good guy with friends and family who grew up thinking killing a certain type of persons is okay. In fact, great. Sorry, I'm correcting my grammar here. Thank you, Grammarly. All right. No. I think that's a really cool. It's gonna be easy because if there's 9 kingdoms and they're all corrupted, I feel like writing a kind person as a bad guy won't be necessarily hard. It's gonna be a cool contrast, I think, but I think because you see it all the time in like a war and stuff. Like a normal person will get drafted and then go kill a bunch of people and come back and have to deal with the consequences. All right. Number 5, a person who has relived their life over and over, but they're just a normal person, no powers, no gifts, or really the brain power to plan for upcoming events. But because the power itself is powerful, people overestimate him, which causes him an endless cycle of early deaths. He's just numb, pretty much a brain dead victim. I just thought that would be cool. I don't know why that character would exist. I don't know how it'd be important to the plot, but I think it'd be really cool if, like, when people look at him and they, like, the strong people working at him and, like, the machines that look at him, they, like, measure his power, like, up here. It's like, oh my gosh, it's like god-level power. It's, like, so much potential. And it's just a normal guy who just keeps dying and going back in time and reliving his life. And in the story, obviously, he'll happen to live. Like, hold up. Eventually they'll figure out that the world is trapped because he keeps dying and going back in time. Even if he dies of old age, doesn't matter, he goes back in time. So they're gonna figure out how to kill him. They're gonna have to figure out how to kill him, this normal guy, brain dead guy, to let the world keep going. That's a plot that exists already. In Heroes Return, it's a manhwa. I would like to implement that in my novel. It wouldn't be as like it wouldn't be this guy will not be a hero. He won't try to do anything, but I think that'd be a cool idea to add. People have to kill him somehow to keep the world going from an endless cycle of being stuck. Okay, I won't understand that. I don't know if that's... People have to kill him somehow to keep the world going from an endless cycle of being stuck. Okay, yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Alright, character number 6. A person whose only power is to copy the movements of anyone, anywhere. He just needs to know their first and last name. He's really, really smart. Is an expert spy. So I thought, like, I was like, oh, there's definitely needs to be a spy in this world, and so I thought having a spy, that can copy the movements of every other character, like any character he ever wants, just needs to know their first and last name, would be a really good ability for a spy. Because think about it. All these politicians and people from different kingdoms are going to be writing in important documents, and one of the kingdom's leaders is going to be a blind leader, and so he's going to have to read stuff through Braille, and because he's copying all the movements, that means even like when he hovers against like the Braille, all those little bumps, this technology will be very advanced. Like he'll they'll track his finger, and then with like a machine that translates like how his fingers are moving, like the bumps that he's feeling, and then translate the Braille, and so they get wrapped, like they know what the kingdom's doing. I don't know. Also, like someone's writing something down, he could just like hold a pen and then he'll copy the movements of what the person is writing down. I think that's a really cool power as a guy. Okay. Number 7. Their power is shooting lasers, but the lasers flow and can be controlled like water or be sharp. The lasers are green because I said so. So they can control lasers. There's nothing too crazy. I'm thinking about like having that guy as my main character because it's a powerful ability if it's strong enough, but it's also like not stupidly powerful. Like a grain, it's not like a cheat skill. It's something that a character can work and grow. Because having lasers being controlled like water, same effect. It's just like it flows like water. It can be a shield. Like it's like honestly, it's up to the person's creativity. That's for all the dimensions, by the way. I think that's just a cool power. Definitely not the most powerful power, but it's definitely a it's a main character power. All right, number 8. They have multiple personalities disorder. They have multiple personalities disorder. One a peaceful person and the other violent. But the peaceful one is the powerful personality, and the violent one is weak. They are aware of each other, and they are always at odds. I just think it'd be really cool because I see a lot of the times that in like, fiction there's a multiple personalities, and one is peaceful and one's violent. The violent one's always more powerful. I kind of want to flip that to see what that would be like. Number 9, my favorite, one of my favorites. A battle-crazed guy whose bullets and blades are bones ripped out from his enemies and molded and enchanted by mana. All he knows or wants is fighting. He is wise despite this. Even during battle, he is level-headed. But don't be fooled, he's the most bloodthirsty of them all. He uses his wisdom for the purpose of killing. He is the most terrifying species, human. Humans hunt and hunt, always going, never needing a break to rest. I think this character is cool because if you think about human history, our ability to sweat. I mean, we will hunt animals for days. There's a reason why mammoths have just gone extinct because we've hunted them to extinction. We would just, as groups of people, we would just keep hunting. So this person, the only human in the universe, by the way, only human. Everyone else is not human. He just keeps hunting. Like that's all his natural instincts took over. All he wants to do is fight and hunting. He's kind of on good terms with the God of War. No shit. I mean, the God of War probably likes this guy because he just keeps hunting. He keeps fighting. Yeah, he's like he wants to kill. He wants to kill the God of War. I haven't figured out how characters interact with each other, but whatever. All right, number 10, a healer who has more fighting experience than everyone. Over the years, more and more of our colleagues have died, and healers are very, very rare. So a lot of high-risk missions end up her healing herself and finding a way out alone. Not because she doesn't care for her team, though so many have died over the years, she's become very numb to it, but because she's too valuable to die. Healers are very, very rare. And so when parties go out to fight, everyone knows that when your party's about to die, healer takes priority. Like if there's 5 people and 3 of them die, the 2 people are like the fighter and the healer. The fighter's responsibility is to get the healer out of there. Because if the fighter escapes and the healer is dead, that fighter is probably going to be executed. That's how rare healers are. Okay, a person whose trait I thought this would be really, really interesting. A person whose trait is aura accumulation. The longer they spend without their aura, the more time it grows. I said trait because I didn't come up with the dimension yet, but I guess the person whose power is an aura accumulation. The longer they spend without using their aura, the more it grows, the more powerful they become. So they'll draw aura and then use it, but it doesn't regenerate like a normal person. They can go into a dimensional space where there is no time and can sit there as long as they want, accumulating aura not even a second has passed. Both in the real world and in the dimension, the accumulation of aura is so small to reach a normal person's amount, like normal human, no training, no nothing. To reach that amount, it takes 100 years. His mindset is a dead man for walking, neither good or bad. If you could use one word to describe him, he operates. If you can use one word to describe how he operates, it would be automation. That's just he's just doing his job. Number 12, a person who keeps getting reincarnated into the world as a hero after hundreds of reincarnations and worlds. I forgot this character. He arrives at this world. Even with all his accumulated knowledge and power, this world's top powers are people he could never dream to beat. He developed an inferiority complex because people who have lived less than 1,000 years are more powerful than him, who's lived tens of thousands of years. He doesn't really care for the small things anymore, like saving villagers or kids, but just wants to defeat the Demon King and find a way to end his life for good without remembering his past lives. There is going to be a Demon King in this world. Maybe. I don't know. I don't think I want a Demon King in this world. I'll have to change that. If there is going to be a Demon King, he's definitely not end-all be-all bad guy. He's probably just like one of the mid-bosses in the book. Because the God of War is the bad guy. Alright, number 13. Oh man. Me, someone like me. And Keegan, my name. Be honest. Make the football version of me think back to how you felt during one-on-ones, the wins, the losses, the nerves. Just pretty much how I was during the football season. Oh, okay. I can tell you right now, my character won't be that cool. Oh. It should be a normal dude. 14, I gotta write something about myself, right? I am writing the book. I deserve a self-insert, even if they're not a main character. Alright, 14. In a world full of in a world full of systems that help each person, this man has no... Oh, in a world full of systems and inventions that help each person, this man has so much knowledge that he knows more than all the systems. He was not born with a personal dimension. In a world full of dimensions that help each person, this man has so much knowledge that he knows more than all the dimensions. He was not born with a personal dimension connected to its dimensional... Also, there might be systems in this world. I'm just stupid. Alright, because I'm forgetting my own world. This is why I need to write it down. Alright, so there's dimensions, and then there's systems that help the person connect to everyone has their own personal system. I don't think I'm going to use the word system because that's a little too basic. But in the world full of systems that help each person connect to their power and grow, this person has so much knowledge that he knows more than all the systems. He was not born with a personal system connected to its personal dimension. He was born with nothing but the brain to know everything. Don't think of it as learning because he knows everything. He's a good man with all this knowledge. He has no desire to be anyone grand, but instead help those around him. So, just pretty much, this person was born with no dimension, no mana, no system, but he was born with the knowledge of everything. That's going to be a complicated character to fit in, but we'll figure it out. Alright, number 15. Doctor who uses old-fashioned ways of medicine like bloodletting and leeches, but it works. I just thought that'd be really cool. It's like, oh, you have a mild cold? Let me just chop off your wrist and let you bleed half your blood and then you'll feel better. And that works. Don't ask me how. Oh, that's a dimension idea. Let me just delete that. That shouldn't be in that tab. Alright, 16. Everyone and everything to ever live is descendant of... Oh, this is going to be a lore. This is lore. Sorry. This is definitely lore. Alright. Wait, this is a lore. I'm like, this is... Okay, the beginning. Everyone and everything to ever live is a descendant of one being, like our universe, except one person. Thing? Persons? Whatever it is, it's different. Not just different, it is different. No words can describe it. Every possible thing to ever exist looks nothing like this being. If you think it talks, you're wrong. If you think it's silent, you're wrong. Everything you could possibly think about it is wrong. Because the first being put everything in his image, right? This second being doesn't have anything like that. So everything that you think about it is wrong. And even if you meet the being, you're wrong. You never met the being because it doesn't have a physical form. Up at the same time, if you think it doesn't have a physical form, you're wrong. It does have a physical form. It's something that's so wildly different to everything to ever exist because it's not related to anything. Like, you can track back, like dogs and humans, you can go back in time to a common ancestor. You can't with this thing. It is completely different. It is different. Just thought that'd be cool to explore. Back to characters. Alright, 17. This isn't a character, but a dynamic I want. At the end of the story, or near the end, this character who has been treated as less talented than the two above him becomes more powerful because he's worked the hardest. The main character, the main character trio, how it always is. Like, there's the main character, there's a side character, there's a third side character. Usually that third side character is the weaker of the three, but he works the hardest. I actually want there to be a payoff where that third character becomes more powerful than the two of them. Alright, 18. A power to request duels, where if accepted, both this guy and the opponent can only hurt each other, and no one else can hurt them. But one of them must die for them to leave the duel area. If this character is being attacked, the duel ability does not need to consent from the attacking party. He is currently in prison, stuck in a duel, to not be killed. Note, in this world, once you reach a certain level, you don't need food or water to survive, just the power you draw from your dimension. And I need to come up with a character who's connected in a duel with this guy, because they have to be like best friends or comrades, and they're like sacrificing his life so his partner can live, or one of them will eventually have to kill each other to live, because yeah. Number 19, a charismatic female character that's not just a +1 to a guy, nor is she asexual. Alright, okay. A charismatic female character that is not just a +1 to a guy, nor is she an asexual badass. She's an actual character with nuance. She's a normal girl who works for the kingdom as a manager. I don't know what to do with this character, but I'm tired of every book having all the females leads completely asexual, not interested in romance, or being hopelessly in love with the male lead. I need a character with a bit of both, like a real human. Just the goal of that character is just to be a normal, well thought out. I can write a really thought out and good male character, but that's because I'm male. It's really easy for me to write a female character. That's going to be a huge challenge, because I don't know what that world or life is like. So that I put that in there so I have a challenge to write and to remember that like females are human. Not, that sounds bad. I don't know. It's easy to write something when it's from your point of view. So I think a challenge of writing someone of the opposite sex would be really a cool challenge. And I think I want my book to be relatable, I don't want it to be somewhat I want a normal person. I don't know. You get what I'm trying to say. Anyway, it took 28 minutes to go through my world. That's all I have so far right now. I still need to come up with more of the plot, the start, the middle, the end, the world lore, all the gods, a ton of other characters. I still have a lot. 31 more characters to write. But it's going to be chill. It's going to be chill. And then I have to write how they connect to each other, which I might just need a graph for that, like one big board. Alright, see you guys.